think you might have to.
You got it? No.
All right, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
No. Councilor Callahan. Vice President Lazaro.
Present.
Councilor Lemming. Councilor Mullane. Councilor Scarpelli.
Present.
Councilor Singh. President Beers.
Present, 7 present, none absent. The meeting is called to order. Action and discussion items 26014, presented by Mayor Brianna Lingo-Kern. Community Preservation Committee, fiscal 26 appropriation requests. We have before us the presentation of the CPC's fiscal year 2026 community projects. We have an executive summary before us, and I won't take too much of Teresa's thunder, so I'll just say that we are appropriating approximately, well, you know what, Teresa, I'm just gonna let you do it, because these charts, I'm not sure exactly. So if you explain to us the overall amount, and then we'll go through the projects, and then we'll go from there. Great, here you go.
Good evening, everybody. Teresa DuPont. I'm the Community Preservation Act Manager for the City of Medford. Tonight we're requesting the appropriation in an amount of about $2.4 million. This is spread over 11 awards that we'll be reviewing tonight for the council. And
Fantastic, thank you. I saw this 2.6, and then I wasn't sure if that was, and it's 2.4.
it is 2.4. And just to explain that really quick, we do like to keep a reserve of $225,000 from our budget, just for any off-cycle or small grant applications that come through. We never like to be zero, just in case. And just so everybody understands, that reserve money, even if we do not spend it, it gets rolled over to next year. We can spend it next year. So it's just a rainy day fund to have.
Great. And just if anyone watching isn't sure, our Community Preservation Committee reviews applications and makes recommendations to the City Council to approve appropriations in the areas of open space and recreation, historic preservation, and affordable housing. And I think, and Roberta, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is this our 10th year of, or 11th maybe? 9. All right. Close.
Next year will be the big year.
Great. So these funds have gone a long way for our community. There's a surcharge on the property tax bill, and we also receive a portion of the funds as state matching funds to help support these projects. So with that, I will let Teresa present, along with our many wonderful applicants, these projects. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm actually going to take one out of order, if I may, as for the executive summary, only because we are joined by the Medford Athletics team here, the baseball team. So we will first review.
Jim, can you take a video? Can you show them on video?
Oh. Come on up. If you want to stand behind me while I talk about
When he
the
gets
project, that's up to you. Completely up to you.
There we go.
I like the enthusiasm. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, guys. It's appreciated.
All right, so this project, ooh, excellent job there. This project would see a digital baseball scoreboard to be installed at Mamboquette Field, which is located at Playstead Park. I want to commend Coach Oz for being so diligent and bringing this project forward a few years. This is the year we can actually make it happen. We're very excited for that. They have requested, and the CPC has recommended, the funds of $100,000, again, to install a digital baseball scoreboard. I don't know if Coach would like to add anything additional, if this council has any questions about the project.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you, Coach.
How you doing? My name's Orazio Azzarello. I'm the head baseball coach. Been at Medford High School since 2021 and been an assistant here since 2012 and a graduate of Medford High School in 1995, showing my age here. So I want to thank you for the opportunity here, and you know, I'm here to answer any questions. We also have the company here that is willing to answer any questions as well.
Yeah, if you could just tell us 30 seconds what this would mean for your team, we'd love to hear it, and I'm sure the residents would too.
Yeah, I think it means a lot to a lot of people in this community. I'd have to say the Mamboquette Field is something that's been honored for a long time there, and I thought that a scoreboard to just represent that family, represent the alumni, also just bringing Medford together. It was something that Monboquet Field hasn't had, and I think this is a great opportunity to show what Medford's all about coming together. And when I say coming together, a lot of people had their hands in this pot here, and there's a lot of people to thank. I know I was leading the charge, but we did have a lot of parts and pieces that try to put this together, and I'm proud to say that we're here today because of those members, those committees, parents and alumni. It's a great opportunity for us to come together, and hopefully this scoreboard will stand out, and maybe someday we'll have a new baseball field as well, so we'll see what happens.
Great, thank you, Coach. Any questions for Teresa or our coach, or maybe even the team on this project? Seeing none, thank you for the presentation, and thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
All right, shifting back. Now, this will be taken largely in order on the executive summary for those following along. Next up, we have Tufts Park field lighting improvements. This was brought to the CPC by the Recreation Director, Kevin Bailey. Unfortunately, he has a conflict. He's down the hall at the Parks Commission meeting, but he has asked for me to speak on behalf of the project. Excuse me. He had first brought a full lighting project for the entire park to the CPC. However, that just ended up being cost prohibitive. It was close to $1 million to do a full lighting rehab of this park. So he went back to the drawing board and decided, through reviewing permitting and usage, field number 2 at Tufts Park. So we're going to be putting in lighting just for field 2, as well as along, what is that, Marston? No, it's not Marston. I apologize, I have it in front of me, and I should have just used my presentation. So this would be Musco lighting that is able to be, I'm sorry, I just saw George Scarpelli, Councilor Scarpelli.
Do you want to go, George, or do you want to finish it out, Teresa, and then we'll go?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think it was Morton Ave, I believe. Yeah, so
Right.
along Morton Ave. Okay, thanks. Sorry about
Of course. So Musco lighting is able to be controlled by an app, which is leaps and bounds over most of the older lighting that we have in our parks right now, which is a manual process to turn the lights on or schedule them. So this would allow for staff to have some flexibility with turning lights on and off without actually having to physically go down to the park. I will say that Carr Park, as well as Gillis Field, so there are newer fields that have had improvements lately, have also had Musco lighting. So this is a move to try and get all of our park lighting under a consistent use umbrella. So at Tufts Park, field number 2 is the one that's closest to the parking lot. That one is the larger of the fields. It's used by JV as well as a lot of our adult leagues. It's a heavily used field at Tufts Park. And again, this was a request for $432,000. This would also allow for lighting of the entire park, which is ultimately the goal. Just for cost reasons, we couldn't afford to do that this year. This would allow for future phases to add similar lighting into that system, so it's all, one cohesive system. If there's any questions from the council?
Great. Councilor Scarpelli.
Thank you, President Bears, and thank you very much, Mr. Dupont. I think this is something that's a must here in Medford. I think that neighboring communities, and I will tell you in my profession in Somerville, all of our fields are Musco lighting, and the savings they bring to the community, you'll see in the long run. The nights that lights are left open and residents are upset that the lights are down, the lights are up, and we can't get anybody to turn them on or to turn them off. So it's a phone call, it's a satellite just to shut them down, and it really plays a huge impact in the quality of both the people that are participating and the neighbors. So it really supports the quality of life, and I'm glad we're moving to that process, because I know there is other cost factors that someone has to turn those lights off if they're left on at 10 o'clock at night, if they have to be done manually, and that's a cost. So once we have all of our parks and with the Musco system, and having that capability would be a huge benefit. So thank you for bringing this forward, and I appreciate it.
If I may,
Yes,
I'd also
Teresa, go
like
ahead.
Councilor Scarpelli just jogged my memory on something too that I wanted to point out. This lighting would also have a benefit to the immediate abutters of the park. There has been a common complaint of light pollution washing out into yards through windows, because again, this is an older style light fixture. The new lighting allows you to manipulate the iris in a very cool way, so we can eliminate that light spillage that's happening in some of the immediate abutters that are close to Field 2.
Great. Do we have any further questions on this project? Seeing none, let's go to the next.
Okay. Next up, I am going to skip Oak Grove just for a hot second and then take Berry Park's Community Garden. I am joined by Liz White from the Community Garden Commission. They are seeking $57,500 to build a new community garden at Berry Park. I want to give Liz the opportunity to share some words, but this is a project that has been long in the making. I think this started in 2018. So it's time. They are working through a very long wait list for community gardeners, so the demand is there to expand our community gardens. So Liz, I don't want to steal your thunder, but if you have anything further you'd like to add.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome,
No,
Liz.
yeah, as Teresa mentioned, we have a wait list of over 200 people right now, and we only have about 70 plots in the city. So this is something we're really excited about, and as she mentioned before, it was proposed back in 2018 and was not approved. So we're so thankful to the CPC and the Parks and Recreation Commission for approving this. So,
Thank you. I don't think you're going to hear any opposition to community gardens here, but do we have any questions? I'll go to Council Vice President Lazaro.
Thank you. Can anybody give me, who was on the council last time it was proposed, can you give me some background on why it was not approved last time?
Yeah.
It never quite made it this far. My understanding is that it was not approved by the Parks and Recreation Commission, and there was some opposition from neighbors who were concerned about I think the visual aesthetics of it, and also the possibility of rats, which we have measures in place at all of our community gardens, and they are not currently a problem. And there are things, if they are present, there are things that we can do to eliminate them.
It's amazing the technology that's advanced in
Yes.
8 years now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I would also just mention, if anybody has any thoughts or concerns about that we've recently passed a rodent control ordinance and an overgrowth ordinance that may contribute to helping with any concerns around that, around rats in relation to gardens. But I don't think that's usually the thing that would.
No, we actually have pretty strict guidelines in terms of what can be grown and when things should be cut back. And, we monitor it before we close the gardens down for the winter. We always make sure everything is cleaned up to prevent any type of infestation.
Yeah, and I don't think there have been any problems in the other community gardens, have there, that you're aware of? No, yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that's,
Sorry.
no, that's fine. Please, yeah, I'd love to hear your.
No, I was saying we have no evidence of nesting rats. I mean, that's like, I'm a member of the Winthrop Street Community Garden, and yes, there are critters that come and eat our vegetables, but I've seen bunnies, I've seen chipmunks, but we have no evidence of nesting rats in the gardens.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm loath to bring up trash in this community right now, but I will say that the main thing we've learned in all of our years is that it's not gardens, it is open trash and dumpsters that brings rats to our community. So if you see an open dumpster or a trash can without a lid, that is something you might want to talk to your neighbor about. It's probably not the garden. Thanks. Anything else on the garden? Seeing none, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Is Brooks Estate archaeological?
We're actually going to skip back. So I'm
To
trying to
Oak
get us
Grove?
back in order
Great.
to the Oak Grove Cemetery Historic section. So if you're looking at Berry Park, flip it over. It's right there. So I am joined in the council chambers by Chairperson of the Cemetery Trustees, Stacy Clayton, as well as Member Dee Morris. This project would, actually, it's kind of an augmentation to a previous CPA award. There is a section of Oak Grove Cemetery, the World War I Memorial, that is right on the corner of Plaisted and Winthrop. It's the stairs that are there, it's a great photo op area. However, to get to that area right now, you have to traverse those stairs. So it's not ADA compliant. So last year, CPA funded a design study for inputting a historic, it's in the historic section again, access road that would bring people right to the backside of the memorial. This would add ADA parking to that design. So it's just kind of an augmentation to a previous award that was done. So again, right now, that area is accessed by pedestrian traffic. So there's no way for somebody who is bound to a vehicle who has mobility challenges to get up to this area. So this would, for $35,000, would add to the existing design to add ADA parking. Happy to address any questions from the council.
Great. And thank you, Stacy and Dee, for being here and for your service on our cemetery trustees. Do we have any questions on this project? Seeing none, it's a beautiful statue of Victory, if I'm right, up there, and I think it'd be great for more people to be able to see it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thanks, you guys, for coming down to City Hall on this cold night.
Okay. Next up, we're cruising right along. The Brooks Estate Archaeological Survey. This was actually came to us as a small grant in partnership with the Medford Historical Commission and the Medford Brooks Estate Land Trust, which is known as MBELT. I am joined on Zoom by Ryan Hayward, who is the Vice Chair of the Historical Commission. So I just want to recognize him if he wants to chime in with any additional comments here. But this would, the Brooks Estate is, some folks may not know it, but it is a lovely parcel of land that's all under conservation restriction, that's off of Grove Street. It's right on the Winchester and Medford line, but this is the ancestral home of the Brooks family who helped establish Medford here. So this archaeological survey is a desktop survey that would do some historical research into the area. It's not actually somebody going out there and digging. This is step one before the digging, which of course will be very fun, to ascertain what type of historical significance there might be in that area. We're working on, for instance, Thomas Brooks Park right now, which we know was the original homestead for the Brooks family before they built the manor. And we just went through an archaeological study there and found all kinds of interesting things, including pottery and glass and just ways of, things that were just in normal everyday lives of folks in the 18th century. So this would just be a small grant to undergo a study to help kind of identify and preserve those cultural artifacts that may be in the soil. So this is step one before the actual archaeological.
And sorry if you mentioned it, but there's matching funds here as well.
There are matching funds. I will publicly say Ryan Hayward is great at hustling to find grant money. And he found some grant money from Freedom's Way, which is a local heritage program that funds historical projects within the, it's a very finite area, but the path I'm drawing a blank on right now, but Medford is one of the eligible communities for the Freedom's Way grant. So there is some match money here, as well as a little bit, I believe, from their operating budget to get to the $15,000 for that project. We're funding $10,000 of it.
Great. Do we have any questions for Teresa or Ryan about this project? Seeing none, we can move to the next one.
Excellent. All right, we're sticking at the Brooks Estate. Again, Brooks Estate is home to the Shepherd's Brooks Manor. It's a wonderful property that the Brooks Estate Land Trust, MBELT, again, has been diligently working on for years to bring it up to standards so that it can be used for actual event space and community gatherings. So this project is the Brooks Estate ADA parking and pathways. Currently, right now, if you have visited the Brooks Estate, you can walk up a unpaved path to get up to the Brooks Estate. It's a lovely walk. But then, right immediately in front of the manor, there is no parking there. So this would formalize a parking lot area. CPA dollars are eligible to fund the ADA aspects of this, so it would pay for the implementation of parking spots as well as pathways that lead up to the manor space. Again, with the future intention of creating an event space, a public event space up there. So it is a hefty price tag because construction of parking lots it's a great business to be in if anybody's looking for a new career. It's $602,000 to fund this portion of the project. And the Brooks Estate is always looking for fundraising. If there's anybody out there that would like to continue to donate to their projects, they are still seeking additional funds for all the various, there's not a shortage of projects up at the Brooks Estate.
Yeah, and I can just chime in a little bit. I'm on the MBELT board. I'm the city council representative to MBELT and have been for the past 6 years. And, you know, I really think MBELT is one of our hidden gems and also hasn't been underinvested in for a very long time. And the CPA and the CPC's support for MBELT has really been transformative. You know, it's a 50-acre, beautiful, both a land trust for conservation and historical preservation of some really beautiful structures. And this really changes the ability of people to access, especially the manor, and hopefully eventually in the future, the carriage house, whether that's for events or meetings or just going up there to explore the trails. And it's a really huge investment. There are other funds from the state and from some lovely private donors, small dollar donors, I will say, and our MBELT members that are also going into this project. That is a really important foundation for the long-term plans for the Brooks Estate to be a place where people can really go and access and celebrate this open space and conservation land that we are very lucky was not many decades ago turned into a golf course. So that is a beautiful thing, and it's right behind Oak Grove Cemetery, if you weren't aware. So I think the improvements for the Brooks Estate as well as for our cemetery are hand in hand there as well. Any questions for Teresa on this project? All right, seeing none, we'll go to the next.
All right, next one. We are at the Cross Street Cemetery Monument Restoration Phase 2. So Phase 1 involved a pilot of cleaning some monuments or headstones. The industry term is monument, but headstones that are up at the new Cross Street Cemetery, which is located within Oak Grove Cemetery. This was the relocated cemetery from Medford Square that was relocated in the late 50s. They had placed the monuments over there, relocated folks, but it has been a victim of some deferred maintenance over there. So we are led by the Medford Historical Commission. We are looking to do some treatment of the remaining headstones to get them up to snuff and to just really pay attention to this fairly important piece of Medford history. A lot of the folks who built Medford were located in Cross Street Cemetery. So it's a good project to do. It is in the amount of $126,500. Again, this would be a treatment for the 400 plus monuments that are up there. And again, this is a project by the Historical Commission, so I will invite Ryan Hayward to share anything additional that he may like to share. And if there's any questions from the council, I'd be happy to address them.
Ryan, if you want to raise your hand if you want to say anything. Are there any questions from the council? Liz has one. Councilor Mullane.
Thank you for putting this together. So Teresa, in phase 2, I know phase 1 was 10. So how many remaining ones do you have left to do? How much will this cover, and will there be more remaining? How does that look?
Yep, I want to, don't quote me on the numbers, that's why if Ryan can hear me and correct me, I believe it's around 370 monuments that are remaining up there to be cleaned.
I've unmuted Ryan if you want.
Okay. Ryan, feel free to chime in here if you'd like, but
The project is for 85 additional monuments. There's 471 monuments in total in the cemetery. 85 remain some level of restoration, and the remaining ones just need to be all cleaned, which can be done by volunteers.
Yes, which I've been trying to plug that as often as I can, that they would be looking for volunteers to help with the remaining treatment. So if anybody wants to hang out in a cemetery and have a very interesting story to tell at your next dinner party, I'm sure they'll be looking for volunteers in a few months here. Of course.
Great. Any more questions on this project? Seeing none, we can move on to our housing families.
Yes, and I do see Jana Stafford from Housing Families is online, but next we are shifting gears and looking at our housing programs. So this is the Housing Families, I believe the acronym is Legal Aid and Wellbeing Stability Laws Program, but this is our homelessness prevention program. It's an ongoing program that was introduced in 2020 and is still going very strong. We have a good partnership with Housing Families. What they do is they provide eviction mitigation services, legal services, as well as helping with back due rent, or what's called rental arrears. They are located locally in Malden. They do support multiple municipalities, but we've never felt like Medford is second to anybody else. Jana's always been great and there for any questions. We have great communication, no complaints about the program on our end. I do want to invite Jana to share some words if she feels. Sorry, I'm just seeing.
It
Jana
never
on video,
fails.
so.
Yeah. He wants to be a star. Thank you all so much for having me here. Jana Stafford, he's been sitting quietly this whole time. I'm the director of the LAWS program. We renamed it from Homelessness Prevention and Legal Services to make it a little shorter and easier to say. So now Legal Aid for Wellbeing and Stability. As Teresa said, we work along the whole homelessness prevention continuum. So going very far up to when someone has a question about their landlord preparing to sell the property, all the way through the constables at my door with an execution. What do I do? And we blend our legal services with our homelessness prevention and also supply rental assistance when it makes sense in that situation. So this program would be our fourth round, application for our fourth round of funds for Medford residents.
Great. I will go to Vice President Lazaro.
I just want to say thank you to Housing Families. Thank you for including this. Is this the same dollar amount as we've applied for the past few years, or that Housing Families has applied for?
I think it's slightly more. I think our last grant was 69,000 and this is 75,000. Teresa, please tell me if I have that mixed up.
Nope, you're absolutely correct. I believe year 3 was 60, then 69,000 last year, now 75.
Have we been seeing an increase in need, or is it inflation, or is it is there another reason for the increase?
There has been so much need. As we know, housing has been a problem and a need for such a long time. But during the pandemic, it has really increased quite a lot. Prior to the pandemic, we were administering about $20,000 a year in rental assistance funds, so very small amount. And since in these last 5 years, our team has administered $875,000. So we've just seen the need continue to expand from year to year. And then I've been doing this since 2006, and I've seen the rents just explode all over our areas. So somebody would get behind before, we might be able to cobble some funds together, but now they get behind, it's $2,500 a month, it's $30,000 a year. It just adds up so quickly with the high cost of rentals.
I understand. Thank you so much for including this in the presentation and for the work that you do. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Councillor Lemming?
No, I had literally the exact same question as Council Vice President Lazaro.
Great. Any more questions for Jane or Teresa on this project? Seeing none. Affordable Housing Trust?
Yes, thank you, Jana.
Thank you all.
All right, next up, we have the Medford Affordable Housing Trust, and I am joined in the chambers by Chairperson Lisa Davidson of the Affordable Housing Trust, as well as our staff member, housing planner, Catherine Buckingham, who is staff support to the trust. We are here tonight asking for your, recommending the amount of $550,000 of the CPA budget to fund the tranche. It's an annual tranche to fund the trust on their ongoing efforts in affordable housing. I will allow them to speak to anything that they may want to add here, but this is, it's a best practice in a lot of other municipalities to assign a large amount of your CPA funds to your local housing trust if you have one. We are lucky enough to have one here in Medford. So we are just trying to provide sustainable, consistent, reliable funding, because right now they are still fact-finding on various ways to fund the trust. There are ways through linkage, developer fees, and just other type of grants that are out there, but largely the CPA is providing that consistent funding for them so that they can bank on that year over year. So as of right now, the CPC has elected to, off the top, fund 25% of our annual budget to the Affordable Housing Trust. I also note that this gives us status as the word escapes me at this moment, but it does give us housing choice. Thank you very much, appreciate you. It gives us a housing choice designation from the EOHLC, which just allows Medford, it gives us, puts us in a special bucket of municipalities that commit to affordable housing through the metric of, can you, if you devote at least 25% of your CPA budget to housing, that makes us a housing choice designated community and opens us up for additional grant opportunities that are exclusive to those housing choice communities. So looking at that, looking at best practices, looking at the needs of the trust, the CPC has elected to fund 25% of the budget annually going forward towards the trust.
Thank you. Councillor Lemming.
Yeah, just like to say I like this line item. I'm glad that the CPA is doing this. Back when I served on the CPA, we ran into the problem of any significant affordable housing project only coming along once every few years. And just for the public's awareness, CPA funding has to be spent in full every year. So when we were trying to find out how to fund the, put forward our share of the funding for Walkling Court, that would have taken about 3 years of CPA funding to put forth just about 2% of that. So one of the benefits of the Affordable Housing Trust is that you don't have to spend all of it every year. You can sort of build it up over time. So putting a significant amount of funding from the CPA every year into the Affordable Housing Trust is generally seen as best practice. So I'm just wanted to offer my support, saying that I'm glad we're doing this.
Thank you, Councillor Lemming. Any further questions from the council on this appropriation? Seeing none, we will move to our next project. I think we're skipping Placehead Park. We have the Shiloh Baptist Church window restoration phase 2. Let me unmute you, Teresa. Go ahead.
All right, I am joined on Zoom by, I'd like to recognize Mr. Bill McIntyre as well as Mr. Cliff Singleton, who have been the project managers at Shiloh Baptist Church's restoration. They have come to the CPC seeking $150,000 to continue their window restoration project. They kind of put a pause on that one whenever they were blessed with finding a tenant, and they pivoted their restoration of the building to building out ADA access and their basement space to accommodate this tenant. Now that that is well underway and nearing the finish line, we can almost see it, we are now pivoting back to focusing on the windows. These are historic stained glass windows that are very unique to the building. If you look at the outside of the building, almost every single window is stained glass. It provides a wonderful historic aesthetic to the neighborhood. These windows are in dire need of repair. Some of them are missing complete panels, and wind is coming through, and there's a lot of weather inundation. So this $150,000 would be used towards prioritizing some of their windows. They do need more than $150,000, so again, another organization that is always looking for hearty donations if anybody feels so inclined. But this would kickstart the window restoration efforts. And I don't want to, again, steal thunder from Bill or Cliff, but I want to recognize them if they have anything else that they would like to add. And if there's any questions from the council.
Thank you. I will, if you want to raise your hands, Bill or Cliff, and I can recognize you if you want to add to what Teresa said. You got it, Bill. Bill, you may have to click a button to unmute yourself. Yep.
Here we go.
There we go.
We have certainly appreciated the effort of CPA to make sure that we have great access to for the community and our own services in this access program. That's coming to a good end, I believe, and that we're ready to make sure that the building itself is conserved. These windows that we have been looking at for years and years have been examined or evaluated by architect and independent parties. But we want to probably take a look at the Palladium window that's on 1 Holton and the other Palladium on Bauer Street and conserve those because those are more sensitive to weather and also conserving energy. So we are looking at that as a strong evaluation. We've had some small donors who, the last time we did this round, they put the money in our escrow fund. So we have not much dollars, but we have dollars from people who are in the community who wanted to see this happen. So we certainly appreciate your effort there to fund this program and to make sure that it looks great for the community and it improves the property values there.
Thank you, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff, anything you want to add, Cliff, or I'll go back to Teresa first.
Sorry. I just also want to add that I was remiss and I didn't mention this. We have also partnered, I've partnered Shiloh Baptist with our economic development and our climate planner to see if there are any Mass Save programs that are out there. Mass Save does provide some financial benefit to commercial entities that make energy improvements, and this may qualify as such. So just want to point out that we're trying to find all funding opportunities for this project. And just plugging that program for anybody else who's listening right now who may benefit from the program as well.
Thank you. Any questions on this project? Seeing none, thank you both, and we'll move to our next item on the list.
Thank you very much.
Very well. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Cliff. This will actually be our final project to review this evening. This is the World War II fountain at Oak Grove Cemetery. A lot of good stuff happening up at Oak Grove. We're doing a lot of things up there, which is excellent. As you enter Oak Grove at the main entrance off of Plaisted, you may have noticed that there has been this lovely viewing and gazing fountain at the World War II Memorial, but you've probably never seen the fountain actually in operation, and that's because it hasn't been in operation for well over, we actually don't know, but at least 40 years. So this project, in the amount of $167,800, would restore the fountain as well as do some underground utility work to actually get it functional. I do want to recognize Veronica Shaw, the Director of Veterans Affairs, is online, and recognize her if she wants to add anything here, but yeah, I think it's a good project.
All right, thanks, Teresa. Veronica, I'll unmute you if you want to add anything.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I just want to thank the board for approving us so far, and I'm so excited that the Angel will actually be working. It would be awesome if we could have her fully functional by Memorial Day. I know that's sort of the really, really ambitious timeline that we have talked about, but I'm so excited to have her up and functioning for all of Medford's veterans.
Thank you, Director Shaw.
I'd also like just to point out, just because so much research has been done into the various sculptures, that World War II, the Doughboy statue that, I'm sorry, World War I, the memorial over on the stairs that CPA did fund to restore, and look out for a rededication ceremony. We're really excited to share that work there. It was the same sculptor who did the World War I memorial as did the statue here. That's Emilius Champa. There's so much of his artwork that is still around today, so it really should be celebrated. So just wanted to plug that. Dee Morris has been doing an excellent job of doing the research on our various aesthetic elements around the city, just to make sure that we're aware of their historical value.
Great. Any questions on this project? Councillor Lemming.
No question, just wanted to say thank you so much, Veronica and Dee, Teresa, for all your work on this, and I look forward to the rededication ceremony and seeing the fountain operational.
We'll make
Thank
sure
you,
get the
Councilor
info.
Lemming. Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, I think that's all of our projects for...
Councilor, Vice President Lazaro has her hand.
Oh, sorry, Vice President Lazaro.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you to Teresa for this beautiful presentation, really comprehensive. And I just also thought that the presentation graphics were really nice too. And I wanted to say great work, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Trying to make things prettier.
Thank you, Vice President Lazaro. Yeah, and this was really easy to read and understand, and I think that's really important in the materials we're putting out. I even have a color copy here, which is magic in this building sometimes.
We do what we can when we can.
I can read the charts. I do want to talk a little bit about just the general funding of the program. It looks like we're doing a lot of open space and recreation this year, and then affordable housing, and then historic preservation. And I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what the conditions are for that, and where we will be going, in the future. These distributions change, and I just was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. Every year we get a whole new wave of applications. Sometimes we might see one that fell through and they just couldn't get it together for the first fiscal year. They needed some more. So we might see them over, but largely every year it's a whole fresh slate of projects. So it's hard for us to always predict, are we going to see more park projects? During the pandemic, I will say, when we had ARPA funding, we saw a little bit more park projects because we did have more match funds available to make small improvements. But really, it's kind of a luck of the draw. This year, there's quite a bit in open space and recreation because we had two very large, those are two projects largely, right there between Tufts and the Brooks Estate. So, yeah, I can't really speak to, is this a trend that we're seeing? No, I mean, there's always going to be more housing needs than we have available funding for. There will always be more historic preservation needs than we have funding for. So we are held to, just so everybody is aware, a minimum of spending 10% or budgeting or reserving 10% of our annual budget to each of those three buckets: historic preservation, affordable housing, as well as open space. So we're held to reserving or spending 10% of our annual budget in each of those buckets. That remaining 65% can get dispersed however we see. So we vetted the applications. There's a very rigorous review project. This was over the course of 2 meetings of presentation and 2 meetings of deliberation, so a total of approximately 12 hours of just talking about these projects went into it. We have a prioritization process that we look at. There's 9 members on our committee, and those are all individual voices. So when we're talking about priorities, we have all these various different viewpoints here. But we come to a consensus, and this is kind of where we landed for fiscal 26. Next year, who knows? It might be a more even split. We might see something more heavier, but I hope that addressed your question, but happy to have any follow-up.
Thanks, I just really appreciate going through that. Do we have any more questions for Manager Dupont on the CPA recommendations? Councillor Singh.
I just want to thank you and thank everyone who has worked so hard to put these applications together and to review them. I didn't have many questions tonight because I think these are all very important projects for our community. I think individual counselors have spoken to individual projects, but I wanted to speak to these as a totality and to say on behalf of our community, these are the things that our residents feel in their everyday lives. It changes how people experience their city, and for that, I'm grateful for the hard work that you all have put into this.
Thank you. I'll make sure I bring that back to the CPC. You know, this is the culmination of a year's worth of work, so I appreciate your appreciation and your time and all public comments that we've received on these things. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Seeing no further questions, is there a motion to refer these favorably to the regular council meeting for approval? On the motion of Councillor Singh to refer the fiscal 26 recommendations for appropriation by the Community Preservation Committee to our regular meeting on February 3rd, seconded by Councillor Lemming. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Callahan. Vice President Lazaro.
Yes.
Councilor Lemming. Councilor Mullane. Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
Councilor Singh. President Pierce.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion passes. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you to everyone who applied. We're so excited to be a part of funding these amazing projects for our city, and we will be taking a final vote on February 3rd. But if you're an applicant, you don't have to come back down for that. You came down tonight, you shared your project, you answered our questions. So thank you so much, and we will see Teresa probably on the 3rd. Great.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you all so much.
Is there a motion on the floor? All right, so we have a motion to adjourn. This is our committee of the whole meeting. If you're watching and you're looking for our regular meeting, that will be starting in about a little more than 3 minutes, probably 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll go through the rest of our agenda. But there's a motion to adjourn by Councillor Lemming, seconded by Councillor Singh. All those in, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Callahan. Vice President Lazaro.
Yes.
Councilor Lemming. Councilor Mullane. Councilor Scarpelli.
Yes.
Councilor Singh. President Pierce.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. We will see folks for our regular meeting in a few minutes. Thank you.